Live from Guyana, Sonia Noel Foundation and Women Across Borders present Inspire You 2026, Empowerment Through Purposeful Giving with Moderator Richard Young and speakers from around the world to share their experiences. Welcome to Inspire You 2026. Joining us now is founder and producer Sonia Noel.
I welcome you to Inspire You. This is one of the celebrations for Women's History Month. I just can't believe that the 21st is here already from the time we started talking about this to now. And Inspire You started in 2017. It actually was the climax of Women in Business Expo that started in 2016, where we actually, I'm very proud to say, me and my team started the very first Women in Business Expo here in Guyana, where it was geared to young and upcoming entrepreneurs, startup businesses, even for somebody that just had an idea. And when I look back at that journey to now, it was one of the best decisions I've made. I'm going to name a few persons that have grown through the process. Mel Balagadu, that came into Women in Business with just one product. She has over 20 products right now in different supermarkets. Lisa Gibson, the same thing, Natasha Davids, and the list goes on. But one of the things it shows that when we come together as women, we can move mountains. When we have that support and partnership, what can happen? So Inspire You, one of those events where we've had women from all over the world and men coming together as we climax that event at the Pegasus that started as an in-person event. In COVID, we decided we're going to go virtual. And we decided to leave it virtual because what the virtual platform has allowed us to do is to connect with people from all over the world. Like today, you're going to see speakers from different continents. And as I look back, and for the last few days, I've been doing a lot of reflections as to this journey here, where it's taken us. And I must say thank you to all the persons that have helped us on this journey. And most of all, thank you to God for downloading this idea. And thank you for those people who believe that it was possible. And one of those persons you'll be seeing shortly because he's going to be moderating both days, Richard Young. He has been from the genesis of this. Richard has been an anchor. Richard has been one of the pillars. And one of the things I admire about our friendship is they say, give to gain. That is the theme today. But we both are givers, not necessarily to gain, but automatically you gain when you give. And he gives selflessly. Richard has been, he doesn't like to hear me say it, but he certainly has genius DNA. In the Caribbean, they describe him as Caribbean fashion guru, impresario. When it comes to pageants, not just fashion events, he directs it like no one can. And it's not just that, his art of storytelling and so many other things. Richard, if I'm to talk about him today, it might take up just about half of this program. But it is an honor to have all these phenomenal women and men from different parts of the world joining us for these 2 days. And as audience, you can interact with us. I am looking forward. This is not just us discussing stuff. We need to hear you in the chat. We need to have you interact with us. We need to have you part of this because this is a journey that we all are going. And I'm now going to introduce you to Richard Young. That has been one of the persons that would believe all my crazy ideas. And he'd say, okay, I know sometimes I can see it in his face, but he always said, go for it. And to all you that are on all the speakers today, I thank you for saying yes. I thank you for not hesitating to join us on this mission. As together, we partner to make the world a better place for women and girls. I put you over to Richard Young.
Hello, everyone. Am I good? Am I centered? I am so looking forward to this discussion about women and the empowerment of women using the month of March, which commemorates the need for the empowerment and for parity for women. And our particular theme is empowerment through purposeful giving. United Nations
Not
has
hearing
set
you,
for the
Richard.
theme for this year, Give to Gain, focusing on reciprocity, mentorship, and shared support to increase opportunities for women. And I have a most stellar cast of people, persons on us, on our chat with us from South Africa, United States of America, South America, and in the Caribbean. So we are really transatlantically connected here. And we are going to have a wonderful discussion about how these persons who have done such empowering things for themselves, but have created platforms to inspire and influence and motivate others to access their fullest potentials. I'm just wondering, am I okay? Because I have my phone and my thing and landscape.
Perfect now.
Am I okay now?
Yes.
Good. So I want to introduce my guests. I have from South Africa, we have um, Leah Molise Moluta, who is really multifaceted. And I believe in her visioning because of her faith, because of her own access to her own fullest potential. And she saw the need to use that as a transformational practice for others to reach their fullest potential. We have, oh my God, this lady is more than multifaceted, and I think it is really an honor for us to have her, Dr. Tonya Bailey. As we go through the program, we're going to realize how multi-layered her missioning is. And I use the word missioning deliberately because she's a minister, but she's a mother. She is a spokesperson. She is just a really dynamic, versatile, eclectic human being. And I'm so honored to have her here. We're going to chat with her. We have Samantha Holder from Barbados, who was just inspired by her own desire to do better. And after that, she does it impactfully on a daily basis, everyday basis, not necessarily creating major platforms, but knowing that the art of listening is important. The art of listening and sharing and communicating. We have Dr. Andrew Boyle from Guyana, another person with a very multi-layered portfolio, who has a feminist heart, because he's, when we were chatting, he says in his institutions they are majorly predominantly female oriented, so he creates access for women to have leadership positions. And we have Vidushi Prasad McKinnon, again from Guyana, who another amazing, incredible human being. She's a lawyer, and she also works in sport, and she believes in empowering young girls and women and finding space for them to create space. So I want us to start off by talking about how faith. So I want to bring in Leah and I want to bring in Dr. Bailey, because I know particularly in their case, faith has influenced them and has kept them uplifted and resonated through their lives. And they have been able to use that to reach others and to create passionate interplay between women predominantly, because they work with men and women. But here, since we're working and focusing on women, we want to talk about how it is they have found ways through their faith to keep themselves centered, focused, deliberate and intentional, and be able to impact on other women. So I will start with Dr. Bailey.
Hello, and thank you so much, Richard, for the beautiful introduction. I think I'm going to take you on tour with me. And thank you, everyone that is joining us from around the world. I love this question because I would not be who I am if it wasn't for the grace of God and my faith in Him. As a cancer survivor, brain tumor survivor, faith has
Has
reminded
reminded
that when we are weak, His strength is
strength.
made perfect. I found that my faith has caused me to not only encourage me, but to use that encouragement to empower other women. So I started back in 2011 creating an annual conference for women and girls so that they could be reminded that they're absolutely matter and they're valued. During this annual event, we try our hardest to let women know that it doesn't matter where you start. It matters that you finish. Faith has a way of making sure that we can use our powers for good and not evil. It has caused me in many moments of my life to be reminded that through my faith in God, through my faith, I have been able to overcome the most lowest of valleys. And then I've been able to celebrate on the most highest tops of mountains. Faith in action, it's something that I truly believe as a life practice, Richard. It has caused me to understand that it's not just what we say, but it's what we pay. See, faith is not just something that just haphazardly happens. It's not accidental. Faith is intentional. Right now, I have faith in the chair that I'm sitting in. It knows my weight. It's carrying all of the multifacetedness of Dr. Bailey, and it is still holding me. See, faith is not always something that you see. It's absolutely something that you don't see. I like to say it this way, and that is faith is the unseen motion to getting you through and to your purpose. So I truly believe that faith has an absolute place in our life, absolute place in empowering, an absolute place in purposeful giving. And without it, without having that unrelenting faith, then we are just living day by day. I like to say just letting our day happen to us, but we're not happening to our day. So, Richard, I love this question. And I want to just say, and as I release the mic for my other colleagues to speak, that faith is the essential tool that we must have in today's world. While there is so much going on, it is our faith that levels us. It is the common denominator that ignites us to be our authentic self. When everybody else has given up on you, faith will make sure that you know that you still can do it. So I love to live a life of faith. I love to share, and I can talk all day about how faith has lifted me and has caused me to be who I am. For without it, I don't know where I would be. So that is my little piece on that, Richard. I hope I answered that to the best of my ability.
Beautifully. I was going to scream out, preach, sister, preach, but that was wonderful because it was really inspiring. Why I connected you and Kia, because Kia led us in prayer just before, and it really calmed me, to get started because I was a little flustered, and she calmed me. So I wanna talk to her about how she creates spaces like her Christian Woman Business Network, and how has that been able to give her visibility as well as shape opportunities for others, and how it helps keep you motivated to go further. Yes, Kia. Is she hearing me, Kia?
Good. I don't even know what to say. Good morning to others and good evening.
Kia?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I want your take, Kia, on
I am here.
yes, how faith has kept you
Can you hear
moving.
me?
Yes, Kia.
Can you hear me?
I don't think Kia is hearing us. Hello, Kia.
Can
Are
you
you
hear
hearing
me?
us, Kia?
I am here. Can you hear me? Yes, I'm hearing you. Can you hear me? I'm here.
Are we hearing her? Kia is talking to us from South Africa, and I really want to hear her because she calmed me. Yes, Kia. She's not hearing us. Okay, well, we'll see if that can be, if we can rectify that problem. We'll keep the thing moving
Okay, I'm
because
getting feedback on the chat
one of the
that
things that I
you are
wanted to
able to
talk.
hear me.
Yeah, she's
So I'm going to take it for granted that it is only
Control.
Richard that cannot
Is she
hear
on?
me.
I am not hearing
May
her.
I
I'm hearing her.
proceed to answer the question? I'm back on. First of all, before I answer the question, I would like to take this moment, Richard and Sonia, with your permission, to thank you very much for the opportunity to be in this conversation. And it is especially an honor to me as a South African because on the 21st of March is our Human Rights Day. So this comes at a perfect time. And I just want to say, not only to South Africans, but to all of us all over the world, that we are living in a time where human rights are so violated on a frequent basis that we are all suffering impact of human rights violation. When human rights are violated, we cripple emotionally, we cripple financially and physically, socially, and mentally. But I would like to encourage all of us that may we in our own spaces, our micro spaces, go out of our way to protect what we know and still understand as human rights. So to all of you, my brothers and sisters from all over the world, especially South Africans, may it be a meaningful Human Rights Day where we reflect and we plan going forward as to how we are personally going to protect human rights. Now, to answer Richard's question, faith is not a question for me. Faith is not a choice for me. Faith is a non-negotiable for me. I exist and I live my life on the basis of faith, which is what I believe, believing in God, believing in the things I hope for, the things I not see, believing in the things that God promises us, and believing in his protection, his provision, his grace and mercy. And why do I believe in those? Because I am a living product and testimony of who God is and what God is able to do for us. Now, when God has blessed me in a way that he has blessed me, and he's revealed to me in a way that he's revealed himself, there is no way, Richard and Sonia and everybody else listening, there is no way that I could keep it to myself. Before I fell deeply and intimately in love with God, I was already in the business and I was already aware of my purpose. My purpose being to impact others positively, my purpose being to reach out to those that may be sidelined, that may not have opportunities, and to bring back into the realization that opportunities exist for everybody. So now, go to business network to visibility of who I am and what I understand my purpose to be. I am Passionate is an understatement. I am in love with helping women and young women to power within them and ability for them to live life, to achieve, great, so have continuation of my purpose and calling. Thank you, Richard.
Such conviction. I told you we started off using faith as our inspiration into this talk. And I know just a few moments before, Leah quieted my spirit. So I thought it would have been a wonderful way for us to introduce this program. I have a quote for us here. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give.
Kia, Richard, all this time,
Kia.
we've been having meetings. You've been calling me Kia, Arabilwe, not Leah.
Kia, sorry, Kia.
Arabilwe, Kia for short, Richard, come on.
Kia. Yes, sorry about that, Kia. Sorry about that. Yes, so from Kia's wonderful remarks, I was just using a quote to lead into the other two people I want to connect, which is Dr. Andrew Boyle and Vidushi. I was saying the quote, I'll do the quote one more time. We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. And both of these persons are, as I said, very multi-layered in the way that they approach life, and the commitments and the convictions to their purpose, of which Kia just spoke, because the accessing of that purpose is what I think motivates us to move forward, and to actually feel passionate, again, as Kia said, about having a reason, as they call the raison d'etre for life. So I want to introduce Dr. Boyle, because he has many, many, many hats. And I want him to talk about how he uses his platforms, his business, to give people opportunity to access the best versions of themselves. And how does the return of that impact you in your own trajectory? Dr. Boyle, I see falling off. But we can start with Vidushi, because I was going to throw it to both of y'all. So Vidushi, if you're hearing, you can come in.
Yes, I'm hearing you. And I just wanted to say that, I note, like, before I dive into your answering your question, I just said that, maybe we should just take a moment and acknowledge the real star of this recording. And it resonates with that quote you just provided. I think it's Winston Churchill, right?
Winston Churchill, yeah.
Yes. The real star of this recording is actually the glitches this morning. I know that we've had a few surprise appearances in terms of not hearing, recording, and so on. But honestly, I think that this is part of the program, and it's here to remind us that we are all human, and that this is not perfectly edited production. In a way, it's very fitting, because what we're doing here today is phenomenal. Sonia, you've brought women together across different spaces, roles, realities, and it is indicative. It isn't about being flawless. It's just that it's about showing up. And this is everything that we talk about women empowerment, supporting each other, and we're creating the space anyway. So, let's just take the pressure off. No need for perfection. I'm enjoying this real conversation. Because again, Sonia, Richard, the fact that we managed to pull this group together, even with these few technical hiccups, that's actually the powerful part. So yeah, as we reflect on this whole Women's History Month, we are reminded that every step forward that we take, that we stand on the shoulders of women who dare to challenge the limitations before us. I thank you for your introduction there of me, Richard. Whilst I wouldn't say, I know like you're asking how, well, as you know, I didn't really choose law. Law chose me long before I even had the vocabulary to resist it, because I actually come from a long line of attorneys at law and academics. So, our dinner conversations weren't really just about what happened at school and so on. They were about principles. Some one of my family members, my sisters, my parents, they'd raise this hypothetical question, and then suddenly you find yourself defending a position that you didn't just believe in, but you just wanted to see if you could hold your ground. It was less about passing the salt and more about defining justice and citing your source. So law was inevitable, but sport, that was the plot twist that no one saw coming. My entry into sport leadership, it actually wasn't some, as much as I like to think, some grand orchestrated plan. It was more about curiosity. It was a little defiance, because I've always been drawn to places where I didn't quite fit the mold. And sport discipline and sport governance, particularly in the sports I'm involved in, handgun shooting and archery, very much that. Yeah, so basically sport leadership just became a natural extension of my journey, and it has, as you said, it very importantly, it has given me the opportunity to reshape spaces so that the next woman that would come onto the range or in a boardroom, she doesn't have to earn her presence quite so loudly. Yes, I like to leave it here. If you have any, let's see if we have Andrew to weigh in.
Well, I think Andrew kind of fell off. Is he? Is he there? I'm not seeing him there. If he comes back on, we'll kind of shift back to him. I want to pull Samantha in now from Barbados, because Samantha's journey is particularly interesting to me, because it kind of resembles mine in a way. She reflects a life of consistent, quiet giving through mentoring, teaching, and simply being present for others. So I want to ask you, how does those those powers of small everyday acts, how does that help you constantly redefine yourself? Because we talk about your giving and we know of that giving, but how do you gain from that? Since that is what our focus is. The giving has to be a gain not only for you, but for those who are under your purview. But I want to know how you gain from constantly giving in small quantities that you do.
Thank you for that. First, obviously, one of my gains is being here with these persons. I want to thank Sonia for the opportunity. And I guess when you give, you get that pleasure of seeing persons strive as well. And I am a great believer of once someone lights my candle, then I am free to light as many candles in the world. And by doing that, then I make the world a brighter and a better place. Because the persons don't just show up or give their best because they're told to. They show up and give their best because they're seen, heard, empowered, inspired when they're given that space to thrive. And when persons give them the opportunity to believe in themselves and say, yes, I know I can do this. And obviously, I've been given that opportunity many times during my life, both professional and personal. And again, here is another opportunity that Sonia gave me, where she has enlightened me. She has said, yes, Samantha, you can do this. So I am here to inspire and tell other people they can do it too. So to answer your question, in giving daily and giving quietly, then I continue to see persons grow. I continue to see them achieve their best desire, their best interest, because once you give them that space to be seen, heard, empowered, inspired, then they are happy to share. And in mentoring and coaching, which is my desire, I may not always have the answers. I may not always be able to say, yes, this is what you need to do. But sometimes people just need that listening ear. They just need someone to listen, believe in them, and say to them, yes, you got this, you can do it. So that's why I just continue to, as you say, quietly give every day. I give that listening ear. I give that encouragement. I say to persons, yes, you can do it. Yes, we can do it. and we just continue to thrive together.
Wonderful. And in keeping with that same spirit, and I see Dr. Boyle is back, so I want to move it over to him because he has a lot of people in his fold. And so I want him to share a moment when your mentorship or your inspiration to others open doors for your own growth. And tell us that, the give to gain phenomenon that of which we speak. You got me?
Earlier, I mean, I keeps be kept bumping off all the time, but I can't hear myself, and I was hearing earlier, and I really can't answer what you just asked me because you are cut off halfway. If I may, I'm not sure how do I proceed here now, but I'll just tell you a little about myself to see if I can bridge that gap because I really was not hearing a thing. Growing up in the place called Burbis River here at Kimbia. In fact, I'm here right now. Sorry, the internet is not fantastic, but we have a lot of strong women, very strong women here. One of the things, though, if you notice that lots of the families have not been able to blossom or send their children out to study and so on, simply because they were it's a custom not to have their girl children go to study, and that's something that hindered them over the past. Now it's slightly different, and I think with education, and some of my sisters, the older ones, of course, were prevented from studying, but the younger ones was blossomed because they were given a chance to study and to go to higher heights. Uh, I'd like to continue, but I guess I'm talking and not sure if you're hearing me, but I can't hear you when you speak. So I'm going to stop here and ask you to see if you can hear me or if I can hear you. I'm going to come off the mic and see if I can hear you now.
Well, I heard you. Yes, I heard you. I don't know if you're hearing me now, but I heard you.
I'm
Um,
here, you know. I'm here, you know. Here, you
great,
know.
great.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm keeping with that spirit of the give to get, the give to gain. Um, and Kia, as a curator of the Armor Daily Planner, what's a time when equipping others to lead purpose driven lives actually gave you a deeper sense of your own mission? Because that's what we want to see, that it's a twofold thing, and I'm very interested in seeing how that is, because it really resonates with me. I do this, what I do, as a matter of a conviction and as a matter of a mission, and I always am giving. I was always generous of spirit, but only on reflection and on hindsight, sometimes I see how it has actually boosted me and lifted me up, because I need to be strong to keep giving to others. So, Kia, I'd like to hear your views on your mission through your Armor Daily Planner. Are you hearing me, Kia? I don't know if she's
I
hearing me.
am struggling to hear Richard. I'm not sure what the question was.
Okay, but okay, so
I am struggling to hear Richard.
okay, are you hearing me at all now?
No, I don't think she's hearing.
Is she
I
hearing
can hear
Sonia?
you. Repeat the question, please.
Okay, I was saying you have curated something called Armor Daily Planner, and I was saying, what's a time
Repeat the
when?
question, Richard, please. I didn't hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to get it. As the curator
Richard.
of, if she can hear somebody else, because I think she was hearing Sonia clearly. So there's a fluctuation with
Kia, are you hearing me? No, she's not.
no, she's not hearing you now.
Okay, let's go on. Let's go on to somebody else.
Okay. All right. So I'm coming back to Dr. Bailey. Yes. Um, I want to also acknowledge what Vidushi said there, because the glitches are part of how we overcome hurdles, and we are
Totally. I
we are in
agree. I
yeah.
agree. And Richard, let me just commend her for that, Vidishi. I just love the energy that you give in that moment, and it just make us. You know, we can have the best plans. We
Come
can
on.
do technical chat. We can do technical checks and everything. And in our lives, all of us, our personal lives, I'm sure we would have experienced things. We said, "Oh yes," and then it's like, "Oh, Murphy decided to visit," and then he
I
decided
cannot
to
hear
visit
Richard at
once,
all.
right?
I
So
cannot
yeah.
hear Richard at all.
Yeah.
If anybody can type in the question, then I will respond if
Yes,
you
I
can
will
hear
type in the
me.
question. I will type in the question. Yes, I will type it.
Okay. So should I say it over again?
Yes, say it over.
Okay. So what I was asking her, because she has something called the Armor Daily Planner.
Thank you so
Yeah. And I was asking, what's a time when she is doing this equipping of others for this purpose driven life, and how that actually gives her a deeper sense of her own mission? You know, because I was introducing it, how that it affects me that way. It gives me the obligation and the responsibility to constantly keep doing what I do when I see the results happen. So I'm constantly refueled. So I was asking her to give us an example of that in her doings. You know, how she is refueled by the doings. And one of them was this thing called the Armor Daily Planner.
And Richard, if I may say something right now, but like what you just said, reiterate what you said. When I talked about Melba earlier, examples like that, come in with one product and now have over 20 in supermarkets. Those kind of things reignite my passion for humanity and just continuing
Mm-hmm.
to, even when the challenges come. I totally agree
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm. So I'd like to hear Kia's response there, because I know that is one, I think we all share that in common. Um, we are repurposed and we are refueled by seeing the results, by seeing the outcomes of our intentionality. And so then you say, you know, I must be doing something right. And so that gives you the consistency to go forward. So and therefore it becomes not just an obligation but a responsibility, because you are gifted almost with this purpose. So you have a responsibility to live it out, and brings us back to our faith. Has she gotten the question? Has she got it, Sonia?
Can I respond to the question?
Yes. Yes, please. Yes, please. Tell her she can go ahead, because she's not hearing me. Yes, you may.
Yeah, we typed it in the chat.
Tell her she can go ahead. She's asking if she should.
We did.
Okay.
Okay. The Armor Daily Planner I created the Armor Daily Planner about 3-4 years ago. After the Armor Daily Planner was created by myself about 4 years ago, after overcoming a very difficult season. I didn't want there was no reason or purpose for me to be in this world anymore. During that time, my family and friends used to send me Bible scriptures, which at the time made me very upset because I needed more than Bible scripture and it just was not making sense to me. And when I got out of that valley, I realized that it was the Bible scriptures that kept me going. When I was feeling down and abandoned, all of a sudden I would remember a Bible scripture that says, "You are not alone," that I will never forsake. I realized that those Bible scriptures kept me going and they glued me back together, and realized that other women out there may partner reminds them of God's protection, God's provision, God's promises, and God's presence in all situations and circumstances of life. So now the Amma Daily Planner is a tool that women can now take with their days. What they see is a scripture that reminds them that they are not alone, that
Has she fallen off?
point of support to everybody.
Okay.
You know, I'm looking at those ads that just played. I'm so sorry, Kia. I'm so sorry that this internet is not cooperating. But we're talking about gift again, and I'm
Sorry,
looking at
what's
the
going
ads
on?
that just played. And when I look at like Melbourne and Natasha and all of those, giving that platform for businesses that just had an idea.
Okay, but can you hear me?
Also, yeah, so it was just that just came back to me that I want to share all of the ads that you've seen there. The Women in Business Expo, they were part of it. So giving them that platform, definitely we all gained.
Okay.
Okay. I'm keeping with that mission. It's my thesis statement in this thing because I want people to understand that same thing about the responsibility. I'm going to Dr. Bailey now because her motto tells us that greatness is tied to making others greater. You
Yes.
know. And can you share a defining moment when pouring into someone else's life expanded your own purpose and your own sense of destiny?
Absolutely, Richard. I am a proud liver of this moment, and the motto that you cannot become great until you make somebody else greater. And I think, especially in this moment in today's world, we have an obligation. It's almost like our rent in life that we make sure others are great, that make sure that others are taken care of. And this motto that I live by is very deeply important because I think we've lost something along the way. We've lost that human care. We've lost that dignity that everyone deserves. I have experienced so many wins in my life, especially when I've been able to encourage and uplift others. In fact, I tend to live out loud the thing of that I'm a lid lifter. And that means to me that I'm a person that helps others to see their potential, even when everybody else says there's none. And so when I say that you can't become great until you make someone else greater. It's an acknowledgement that we have a rent, an RENT in life to pay to ensure that someone else becomes greater. And one of the things that have deeply impressed my life is when I've been able to tell someone or lift someone, particularly that have had life thrown at them left and right without any hope. Those are the individuals that need to be reminded that you are still somebody, that you are still important to God's plan and to this planet. I have on everything that I have, my email signature and all that, I always end with 2 words, and that is you matter, because I don't think we do enough of letting folks know that they have a purpose and a mattering. When they don't know that, when they're not surrounded by environments that cultivate their purpose, that cultivate their identity and their uniqueness, then they are frail to kind of leave their own mind to think, well, maybe I'm not worth it. Nobody's calling me. Nobody said that. And so I really live by that. I think also, when we talk about encouraging others, I have found when I am encouraging those that perhaps have had a life that has been less pleasing, a life of lack of privilege and lack of access and lack of knowledge, that they are the ones that we would consider that are the weak. And the scripture says that that those that are strong should bear the infirmities of the weak, to turn around and to help. It doesn't matter your accolades, your degrees, or your accomplishments. None of that matters if you haven't been lifting as you rise. None of that matters if you haven't been able to give back unto others as they are coming up. And this is why this platform and this conference weekend is so important. And I salute you, Dr. Sonia. You know, I was looking at all the different things that we've been hurdling over today, right? This is living out loud the example of what it is that you do when life throws technology difficulties at you, when life throws difficult situation. What is your posture in the midst of those storms? Do you cave in or do you keep going? Do you support? I wish you all could see the encouragement that we're giving one another in the private chat, because this is the moment that you do become that light that lets others see that you can't become great until somebody else is greater. And that means by lifting as you rise, lifting as you rise, caring for others as you rise. And that to me is what I've learned to be kind of like my oxygen in life, right? Kind of being my wheelhouse in life. And so I commend all of my colleagues. I commend this moderator that's having to navigate all of these different terrains. But this is life, is it not? This is life. Do we throw in the towel when a storm hits? Somebody say no. Do we give up? Do we give up when it doesn't seem to work out the way we plan? Somebody say, oh no. Or do we champion? Come on. Do we champion and steer the moment?
Oh,
Come
yes.
on. I need you to get your hands on life's steering wheel right now and steer the moment in spite of your moment. And then I'll say this, Richard, and I'll throw it back to you. There is absolutely no season that lasts forever. Every season has an expiration date. So steward the season that you're in right now with gratitude. I'm grateful to be here in this moment. Even with all the bumps and the tosses and the turns, I'm steering this moment, and I'm encouraging the audience to steer this moment right along with us. I hope that helps, Richard, answer the question, and I'll kick it back to
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you definitely did that. And there is something that is so generic, because when I work with my groups, I work with groups throughout the Caribbean, and I tell them it's a love thing. And I remember a song that used to say, I think it was it a Stevie Wonder song, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And that is my mantra in center in the centeredness, and in the wanting to come back from the low abysses, as Kia mentioned, because I myself have had that. And so all these glitches are part of that, having to overcome. I'm constantly overcoming, and it has to come from that sense of that centered thing, which I feel is love, which makes us connect. The interconnectivity and the intersectionality of our beings is about love. And if we have love and we center ourselves in love, you're going to overcome. So That's what I'm doing at the moment. Um, you know, I want to go to Vidushi and ask, with this love theme that we have just so gotten so beautifully there from Dr. Bailey, I felt that she's speaking to me directly. Um, what advice do you have for emerging leaders on balancing self gain with giving back? Because all of us here, what is consistent is that we give, right? And I want to I want to get another vibe on it, a little tilt on this whole thing of giving, you know, um, and the reciprocity that needs to keep us centered and balanced. Vidushi?
Right, right. Thank you. That's a very good question there. Like balancing self gain with giving back. Yeah, like the whole giving to the it really isn't about splitting yourself in two. Let's just get off first, right? You know, it isn't about making both sides feel right. It's about understanding the same topic you're talking about, like purpose, like understanding the rent that Dr. Bailey just mentioned. And you know, for a long time I feel that many people like myself, I always thought purpose would feel like a destination, like something I would have arrived at or anyone would arrive at when you either achieve enough, when you learn enough, when you prove yourself enough. But what I've learned and recognition came when you understand that this purpose, this given to gain, it's not found in accolades or titles. It's actually found in the responsibility that you feel when you recognize that your voice, your skills, and your experience is actually making a difference for others. And I know we're all doing that here. Dr. Noel, fantastic. The very fact that we are here today, the very fact that we have our audience and our viewers who are weighing in, who are being so supportive with their comments, you know. As a lawyer, a woman in sport leadership, someone involved in the Olympic movement also. So I began to see like the role is not just to participate in systems, but we are here to strengthen them, to advocate for fairness whenever there's ambiguity, to bring structure whenever there's uncertainty, to bring opportunities when other persons just haven't seen them as yet. So, you know, the purpose really lies in building bridges between people, ideas, potential, and opportunity. And what I know that all our speakers and what we as women always try to do and what we are still trying to do, given to gain, is to use the purpose giving in very practical ways. So in sport, for example, creating structures that would allow young athletes and leaders to thrive, you know, standing up for good governance and integrity in sport and reminding people, everyone, men, women, children, especially women, that their voices belong in rooms where decisions are made. And, you know, influence, all this influence we're having here too, it isn't just about commanding attention. It's really about creating momentum in others. So yeah, I mean, if there's a moment of recognition for me personally, I think it's when I realize that purpose is not what we're doing is not something that we keep for ourselves. It becomes real when it's used in the service of others, when it lifts, when it empowers, and it opens doors. And this is happening today. Dr. Bailey's speech just now, her comments just now really uplifted, empowered, lifted everyone. And every day, and every day henceforth, I think, you know, we could all make a pledge here. I certainly will. Moving forward from today, I will try to live in a way that would leave doors wide open for the people who walk through it next. Thank you.
Wonderful. Very encouraging, Vidushi. So purpose is a multi-pronged phenomenon. So that's what are we getting from it. So it has many, many textures. I want to go to Samantha. You have moved from HR into event coordination, yet your thread of service remains constant. How has choosing to lead with heart, more so than having a role or a title, enrich your sense of purpose?
I think once people see that you're genuine and you are doing it from the heart as you ask, then it's easy to encourage them to join with you. And as Dr. Bailey said, if I can steal her term, I do think that I am a lid lifter, and we definitely have to continue to lift persons as we rise, because obviously a community works better than one person trying to do the job on their own. And if you are rising and you are rising on your own and not bringing along the community, the persons around you with you, then you can't achieve as much as you would like to on your own unless you have that community supporting you. So again, I think once person sees your passion, your internal desire to help the community grow, to help them grow, then it's easy to continue to inspire them, to empower them, to encourage them to join you on the journey. And as Dr. Billy also said, we sometimes we have seasons, and we need to remember that nothing lasts forever. And when you are in a season that may seem not to be your best season, and you have other persons out there who inspire you and remind you that a better season is coming, then when you achieve that better season, when you are living that better season, it's only fair that you then encourage other persons who are having a season that may not be going that great for them. So like I started by saying, I think once persons see that you're genuine and it is from the heart, it's very easy to continue to ask them to join you along the journey and continue to lift them as you rise.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samantha. One of the things that Sonia wanted to do this year, because sometimes when we do this women's empowerment drive, we bring just women on to talk. And so I am here because probably I'm a feminist at heart, and I stand on the shoulders of many powerful women who allowed me to seek my most but my highest potential constantly. So that's why we have men on the panel giving their views about not only women but our humanity. I want to go to Dr. Boyle, because when we were doing our precursive prefacing for this, he spoke about the fact that he has really encouraged women in his businesses and in his initiatives. So when you are advocating for women in all of your fields, what gains have you seen ripple through your organizations or the society at large, from what you have done with your purpose and your missioning?
In and out. Sorry. Thank you, Richard. My audio seems to be going in and out. But yes, for over the years, I've been in business over 30 years. And as I said earlier, we have almost 90% women. And I find that those women, the women that I have on board, I'm sure most women, they're innovative. They think out of the box and they do things that are really fantastic. But when they operate, to answer your question, they influence youngsters, young women, young girls,
Oh, we lost him again. Oh, sorry there. And I was looking off. Oh dear. And we were getting him there so clearly. Um, okay, because I was
oh
lining up.
Lord.
Are you there? Is he there? Yes, Dr. Boyle.
And sign
Continue.
off or sign out, but
Oh, he's fluctuating.
yes, it's gone. I'm back on now. So
Yeah. Yeah? Oh dear. Murphy is in the house.
He wasn't invited, but he just pick up space, huh? Um, Dr. Boyle, you should be in the city today. You know that, right?
distance, I'm way up in the river here, and it's not good at all. Sorry about that. Sorry, what
Okay.
you said just now? I missed you.
No, I was wanting you to continue. We were hearing you, and then you just disappeared. And you were talking about the fact that you have had almost 90% women in your thing, in your space, and you saw them taking up leadership, and you're seeing the positive response for having, whether it was inadvertent or deliberate, curated women in your space, and
It's gone again. It's gone again.
We're hearing you now, but I think you're going to go in a couple
All
of
right.
seconds.
All right. Let me continue. Yes, Richard. Thanks very much. So, as I was saying earlier, they tend to influence other women, especially women could say, okay, if they can do it, I can. And some time ago, we had it was an exposition or something of the sort, and young girls came up and said, women rock. They use that term to to see how well those my managers were doing, and that influenced the youngsters. And I think that is something. Programs like these here similarly can influence youngsters when they hear powerful speakers like Dr. Bailey and Vidushi and so on. So yes, so that's what I was saying, that they by listening and watching these women operate, it helps to give them strength and to tell them, yes, we can do it too.
wonderful. So that brings me to partnerships and collaborations, because we can't do it alone. And one of the things that Akia, I am and looking at her resume, there is a lot of collaborations, and I'm looking at your global collaborations. How has giving a platform to others opened doors that you never expected for yourself? Are you hearing me, Kia? Yeah, yeah. Did you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you. Yes, I did.
Mhm.
I am sitting in this room right now, Richard, with you and all the panelists and every single audience. Um, when you give, and we've already spoken about giving from the heart, when you're living in your purpose, doors that you cannot imagine will open. And I think another thing that we are not cognizant of, return on investment. And that return on investment is what opens doors. But we don't go into meetings and into networking environments for the sake of just networking. We go there. We often ask in our Christian Women Business Network, our motto is, ask not what the network can do for you, but what you can do for the network. If we are all coming there with the intention of lifting another woman up, or opening the door for another woman, or inviting another woman into the room, then we are all going to find ourselves with new opportunities, our businesses and our ministries being elevated to the next level. Sitting here right now with you, Richard, and all these amazing, phenomenal speakers is as a result of networking. I know Sonia from one of our networking members, Christian Women Business Women Networking member, Indriani, who's also based in South Africa. And this is the result of networking and collaboration, doing it with good intention. It's very important to do it with good intention. Yourself, but others. And then it's a ripple effect.
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, because networking, um, very cliche sounding sometimes, and sometimes we feel it can have artificial tones to it, because you do hear people um going deliberately to network, and you're not sure if it's a socializing or if it is to really empower others and to find new ways of connecting, you know. I want to talk about the mothers in here.
Let
There's
me
some
let me
mothers.
respond to that, Richard.
Yes,
Networking must be seen as
go ahead. Go ahead.
networking in this day and age. As business women, as leaders, we must look at networking as part of the business infrastructure. It is an asset for your business. Networking gives you a community. From networking, you learn lessons, you avoid risks in business, you're able to build relationships and build up and down, collaboration, partnerships up and down. It must not be mistaken for a social event. It is a structure, it is an asset. And business people that are serious about business, that have been in business for a long time. I mean, you can hear doctor saying that key up by saying it is an asset and a business infrastructure and a strategic one also. It's also about how you prepare yourself when you go to a networking um, gathering. Myself, I leave home with bullet points of what I want to. Not a matter of meeting everybody. It's a matter of going there to say, and who am I looking to help? Who can be there that can be my mentor or coach or hold my hand through a certain part of the business?
Yes. Yeah, because I like what you're saying there, Kia, because sometimes one of the things that we need to do is have some kind of specificity and target, because when you do targeting, you actually can make your purpose be more animated and more exhilarating than something that might be a little more diluted. I wanted to come to the mothers because Dr. Bailey shared with us that she is a mother of eight. Samantha is a mother as well. How do you all balance motherhood, and how does it give you another insight into networking, collaborating, inspiring, and influencing people? Because the motherhood role is slightly different than the professional role, but you're able to blend both. And therefore, there must be some nuggets that you all can share with us about how this can impact positively on fulfilling purpose.
Yes, Richard, I'll jump in really quick. I will just be transparent and say that parenting is hard. There's no manual, there's no great book. My father, who's gone on to be with the Lord, used to say that we're just simply outstanding and improving all at the same time. Okay. So when we think about collaboration and networking and how that fits into the scheme of thing of parenting, we have to understand first we need grace. Okay. Our parents gave us the very best that they could with what they had. Then secondly, we have to understand that that's also our opportunity to administer grace and raise that as a part of our parenting for our children. I'm a strong believer too that it's impossible for us to be great parents and then still try to parent out of guilt. And I want to speak to those that might be in that situation. Even if you have adult children, you are doing the very best and have done even greater than most. You are a lifter and you're a light. And for some of our children, you're the very model of what love is. You're the very aspect and the very, the pillar of what it means to have stability and what networking and mentorship and sponsorship looks like as parents. So go ahead and pat yourself on the back, for that you've done that. But then also to realize how this translates over into business world, and to recognizing that there are some colleagues that need parenting in business, some colleagues that need that guidance, that need that motherly or fatherly instruction and strategic guidance. I love what Kia mentioned about today, that networking is an asset to your business. It's like a strategic move for mentorship and toward mentorship. I love that because I see that even in parenting, and with all the children that I do have, I'm amazed. I can go on with all the accolades that I've ever received and all the awards, but none of that compares to the achievement that I get to be called mother. And there's something in that title, being held as a mother, to hold that title, to know that I was a carrier of life, right? We are, as wives, we are the rib cage coverers for our mates. And that mothering is the same way. But it's also, again, where you're able to be outstanding, and you have to give grace to say that I'm also improving at the same time. It's a daily balance. And you do that in business. You do that in community. You do that in making sure that you're collaborating with others, and you're giving grace, and you're giving space, and you are also downloading that which has been downloaded unto you. My grandmother is a perfect example of this, because she created quilts for Dr. King and for other civil rights leaders, being raised in Mississippi in the South here in the United States. And so she used her gifts to be a collaborator. She didn't have the strength to be able to walk and to be able to march as they did, but she provided warmth. And that same health and love found itself down into me, where I opened up my doors to those that were needing housing and needing encouragement. I used the gifts of my hands to be able to lift those in my life, and taught that to my children, that now they're doing the same thing. So when you think about mothering and parenting and how that ties into purposeful giving, purposeful living, and inspiring the next, it translates into business. It translates into parenthood. It translates into being a community member that follows suit from what they've been downloaded. One more last thing I'll say with this, Richard. I'm reminded of the story, the allegory of the starfish, where there's this young boy on the shore, and he's seeing all these starfish come onto shore, and they're dying. And there's an older gentleman that's looking at him saying, "You can't save these starfish. Just give up on it. It's too many." And he was throwing starfishes back into the ocean one at a time. And as that discouragement was coming from an elder from him, he began to say respectfully back, "Well, I just made a difference in the life of that one by throwing something back." And I say that because oftentimes just the part that you play, the part that you play in being a mother, the part that you play in being an encourager or collaborator or mentor, absolutely makes a difference in the lives of others that is in this beautiful world we call a sea. I hope that gives some insight, Richard, a little bit on just my role as a mother, my role as a collaborator, and my role as a sponsor and promoter of mentorship all around.
Yes, you did. Indeed. I want to go to Samantha to hear her aspect of it, because what you spoke of there, Dr. Bailey, is how leadership is birthed, because leadership is creating agency, allowing authority and actioning. And that is what young girls and women particularly need in the way to create space and find space and claim space. So I want to go over to Samantha to hear about her journey and how her motherhood influences, inspires, and impacts on how she does her leadership, and how she creates her collaborations, and how she finds purpose.
Thank you for that, Richard. And thanks for repeating the question. I was so enthralled in Dr. Bailey's response that I think I forgot the initial question. For me, as Dr. Bailey said, leadership starts, or my belief is leadership starts at home, leadership starts within. And being a mother of two boys with two totally different personalities, two different totally interest likes, it reminds me, and it also prepares me for when I go out there in my leadership roles, to remember that there's no two persons alike. So you can't train two persons the same way. You can't expect them to react the same with directions that you give, with instructions that you give. Some persons strive on different motivational aspects. So being a mother of two sons with different personalities, they remind me daily that everyone is unique. Everyone is their own individuals. Everyone has their own motivational factors. Everyone has their own intrinsic motivators, and everyone wants different responses from things that they do. And so for me, when I coaching and mentoring and raising my boys, I'm also reminded that they too are a part of a community, and that community that we are trying to make the best community. So I can't expect to go out there and lead persons or inspire women or inspire men and tell them, be your greatest self, but I am not pouring it into my children who are also going to be a part of that community. So I definitely have to start with them. I have to build them up to be strong men in this community, strong men to help lead the community, help lead women, help lead their partners as they get older, help lead as they go through school, as they go through life. So I definitely see the cohesion between being a mother and leading the family and being a mentor or a coach out there to lead a community, because at the end of the day, like I said, my two sons are going into the community, and if I want to see that community continue to strive and continue to be bright, then I must start with it at home. I must start with it personally. Again, we have to lift as we are rising. So as I rise and as I lift my two sons, I help lift the community that we are all a part of and that my sons will remain a part of even maybe after I am gone. And hopefully my light can continue to shine through them as they grow older and continue in this life.
Thank you, Samantha. And I'm taking your line here about lighting a candle and lighting other people's candles, and connecting it to something that Dr. Bailey she has used kind of implicitly. The word grace is a word that I believe in as well. So grace, empathy, and compassion. I want us all, I'm throwing this openly, and we'll start with Vidushi, about how important is grace, being empathetic, and how compassion influences how you create space in this world and allow others to access their fullest potential.
Right. Thank you, Richard, for that. Okay. Grace is, when we think about grace is really what allows imperfection, and compassion is what allows connection. So together, I think when we put them together, we get an area and a space where people can feel safe enough to speak out without fear, to, just be yourself, try and fail without shame, grow without self-doubt, and this comes back to, well, with purpose too, like when it is that we're thinking how we use grace and compassion, it really comes down to us ourselves, where we must do this balance. And I mean, you just spoke about parenthood, and I was thinking about parenthood and, parenting, being a mother. It is one of the most profound places where balance is tested and it's lived. And having to apply compassion and grace, this is where it comes in, because these things affect not just what persons out there and the young people and the people you're mentoring, not just what they're listening to, but what they're learning from how you apply this. But I also wanted to tell you that these things only come from you applying it, from not dimming your own trajectory. I'm sitting here and I'm trying, I have so many things I want to tell you right now when you bring that in, because it all comes back to one thing. And I think something like, yes, we're all powerful women here. We have our speakers, we have our viewers, we're all looking at this, right? But as we are giving, we're talking about giving to gain and giving with this compassion and this grace. But we need to also realize some things, that what we need to own our ambition fully. We don't need to shrink or soften or justify our success to be of service, and not to be we need to be selective also when we are applying this, you know, not just available, not just every call, because there's something called burnout. And I think that burnout is a very important thing also that we need to talk about, because as we're giving all of this, you know, whilst you could be applying, giving, being graceful, showing a lot of compassion with the persons you're mentoring, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. And so we need to lift strategically, not just generously, not just with grace and compassion. We need to mentor, we need to open the doors, we need to recommend and advocate, but do it in a way that we create independence and leadership in others and not dependence on us. So it's something that we really have to be aware of and careful as to how we go about doing this, because again, persons that we mentor, they aren't just listening, you know, we could be saying the perfect things, you know, textbook style, you know, dealing with things, but they're really learning too from how we ourselves carry ourselves, how we live, how we you know, how we do it. Like I said too, not every call, not every assignment or request that's made of you, of your time, it's aligned with your purpose and what you can do. So, you know, we have to learn to be graceful and very compassionate when we say yes, when you know, we can create real change, and when we are going in places where we're not just filling gaps. And we have to carry that into every room that we go, and we have to turn every room we go into a platform. So every space you enter, every boardroom, every field, every courtroom, every little gathering, it is an opportunity to shift norms, to amplify voices, and just make it easier for the next woman with your grace, your compassion, and these are intrinsic.
Wonderful. I liked when you mentioned independence. And independence is promoting a kind of individuality, and it relies on interdependence. And those things are done with grace and with the empathy and the compassion. So I'm throwing it now to Kia to give us her value on the importance of these intangibles that make the connections that we make, the connectivity that we make, be substantive and sustainable. You know, because as a touch word these days, sustainable means it's enduring and it's lasting.
Thank you very much, Richard. I'm going to have my video off so that hopefully you are able to hear me better. For me, all these, what you call intangibles, grace, compassion, empathy, are part of leadership, important part of leadership. And I don't believe that we can be good leaders outside of adopting those, and I call it skills. You have got to have the skill to show grace and to be compassionate. I lead from a position of understanding that I am here to serve. And my serving, unlike many other business people, they serve people who report directly to them. I serve women and other leaders who lead their own communities, who lead their own businesses, who lead their own careers. So I do not necessarily lead them for the sake of building my business, but actually for the sake of them building and growing in their own different spaces. So I find that grace and compassion gives me the opportunity to allow the next person to be truly themselves and to show up as they are meant to show up with the gifting and the talents that they have. It allows them to activate themselves. And in doing so, then true leadership is at play here, because you're helping people to become their best version using what God has given to them. If you read the Bible like I do, you will remember that most of the time Jesus Christ often asks when people come to him, what can I do? What do you need from me? He never just goes and does what he wants to do. He knows that a person is blind and he will still ask them, what do you need from me? So for me, that is leadership. That is giving the person the opportunity to be themselves. You see their skills, you see their shortcomings, you hear what their needs are, and you support and help them from there, and help them to also collaborate with others that can take them to their next level, to their next being as individuals and leaders in their different spaces. There is no leadership without compassion. There is no leadership without grace. There is no leadership without empathy, especially when we understand that we are not leading for our own sake, but for those that are watching, that are following, that are wanting to learn from us.
Thank you so much, Kia. And then what you're saying, that there is a thing I believe in. I believe in a simple infinitive. There is a to be and to do, and I think a lot of times it's in the doing, in the actioning, more than in the designation of a rule or a title, and subliminally even and implicitly, it always has to be done with grace, and it always has to be done with understanding, and it always has to be done with compassion. I'm coming to you, Dr. Bailey, for you to lay in on these views about how we do what we do.
Yes, thank you, Richard. I know we're getting ready to go into a break after these few comments, Richard, but I want to just say this before we take a break. When we look at, and I want to go back also to Badushi and talking about lifting strategically and how all this plays a role in this. I feel as if we first have to understand that no, N-O, is a complete sentence. And so when we understand that we have permission to say no, it does not mean that we are neglecting an opportunity or an appointment, but we're actually creating space for an open door and saying yes to us, while we're also saying no to so many maybe different obligations or trying to pile up our plates. And I think that plays a role in how we lead. That plays a role in how we have the right lens when it comes to purposeful giving and purposeful living, right? I think that's very important. I also feel as if that we have an opportunity through leadership to model that which we want the next generation to come behind us and see, right? We should always be leaving out breadcrumbs and great trailways for others to pick up and follow. I love John Maxwell, who says often that if a leader is thinking that they're leading and no one is following, they're merely just taking a long walk. Right. And so who are we leaving resources behind? Who are we leaving legacy markers for others to pick up and follow? I think that's our obligation. And that's our reality of how we move the next generation and the needle forward in all that we do. So, yes, it's obviously on us to make sure that we're leaving a trail behind for others to follow. I don't live by the notion that others have to pull up themselves by their bootstraps. I believe in creating boots and the straps and then passing them down so that you can have the actual resources you need to make it to the next level. That is what this life, and that is what I think Inspire You is all about, is making sure that we're leaving breadcrumbs, is making sure that we're leaving a legacy, is making sure that we're leaving opportunity and opening the door even wider for others to follow through, while having balance in the process, by understanding our own capacity and our own bandwidth, so that we're not in the process, but we're also, yes, not lighting the candle on both ends, but shining it bright enough so that someone else can walk through, especially during their dark times. I hope I'm getting to your point, Richard. Again, I know we're getting ready to take a break and go into commercial, but I just wanted to throw that in a little bit as we go into our break.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm encouraging people to support those businesses that we just saw on screen there. They're all women owned. And Dr. Bailey, I want to pick up on something you said. You were talking about the balance. I used to believe in that balance, what I don't anymore. I believe in a blend because something is going to tip the other. So I try to find that blend because I think balance, we can be disappointed because I'm not finding this balance. But if we look for a blend, nice old average here or there, because I don't, when we look at the wheel of life, sometimes we can score 90 in one area and 10 in another. But if we score a nice average, I think we can really live a fulfilled life because we going after that balance and we frustrated when we don't find it. I think it's more advisable. Let's go for that blend. I think so. I think a blend is it's more achievable rather than the balance. Because we're going to be very frustrated, like really frustrated. You always hear people say, "Oh, work life and professional balance. I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it." And I said, "Just you're not going to find it. Something is going to tip the other. Let us just look for a blend. I think a blend is more achievable." Yeah, I think we should. I used to believe in that balance thing, and after I said, no, we're not doing that. Not anymore. At least. So Richard,
Yeah.
I think Richard and I spoke about that because Richard has this kind of life too that sometimes he gets very frustrated, and we all have that frustration going on. But if we can just say, okay, that nice or average, let's find a blend, right, Richie?
Yeah. Well, some people might think the blend and the balance could be synonymous sometimes, you know. But I understand totally what you say because that's the only way I can move forward. There's a quote I want to bounce that off of. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others, and from that, I want to. My room here is a little chilly. I'm trembling a little bit. And I was wondering what is happening to me. There's a little vibration going on, and it isn't so positive, to use Bob Marley's line. I'm a little cold. Yeah, so that line, Mahatma Gandhi coined that line, and that is the same blend or the same equilibrium, if some people might see them as synonymous, is what you have to do to keep a sense of centeredness. I want Dr. Boyle to come in. I hope he is hearing us because I haven't heard from him for a bit to talk about how he finds that blend in this multi-layered life with these different hats, and how you are able to keep that and to keep saying, for want of a better word.
Thank you, Richard. Again, forgive my internet has been on and off. I think to find that blend, and that's why I think that teamwork is important, and well, because I don't believe in being autocratic in terms of do everything I say or do everything I do, but have a blend or in fact have great teamwork, team members do work together. And then, as I said earlier, women come with some innovative ideas, and I find it works very well. And to just touch on compassion a little here too, because I was thinking about that. Uh, I am from the hinterland. I'm from, I would say, a depressed area to some extent. I find that if we use compassion and teach our young women, not only teach them but give them tools to function. As they say, as the saying says, give them a fish instead of give them a fishing rod instead of fish. So that helps them to well, of course, teach us and then bring them along as well. So to answer your question, yes, in short, teamwork, collaboration, those are the ways I find that can be very effective in solving problems and the way forward.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Um, all of us, I think sometimes people mistake leadership. I had this discussion with ownership sometimes, or proprietary rights, and that is what leads to autocratic maneuvers and dictatorial measures instead of inculcating a sense of team. And that spirit of team building is how we can fortify ways going forward and make everybody feel positive in the going forward. So we all achieve things together. And sometimes that's difficult for us to do because we're doing that in a space which is very individualistic, because we live in a world that says, go after profits and maximize profits at all costs sometimes. And that kind of can infect the way we choose to work with each other, and it promotes a dog-eat-dog world. Yes. Is Kia there on? I was now going to Kia, but I'm not seeing her there. Is she there? No, she fell off. Yeah, there you are, Kia.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
good. I wanted to get a sense from you, because we're that point about the interconnectivity through how we do what we do, more than what we do. I think is very important for the sustainability, which is the word they call sustainable development, which is to make sure that our future generations have a chance at this life that we would have crafted. Let's talk about that, because that is part of the leadership, that is part of the giving and gaining, and leaving the world a better place. Is that part of our mission when we come here? Give us a comment on that, Kia. She fell off.
Can you hear me, Richard? I'm here.
Yes,
Can
we
you
are
hear me,
hearing you.
Richard?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. All right. I was losing you a bit there. My understanding is on the question of balance and the give and take that has got to take place as we do what we do. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take it from a point of understanding. It goes back to purpose. I'm keeping my video off for the sake of connectivity.
Yeah.
So it starts, the departure point is always purpose, and it's always understanding what is needed and what is necessary in this particular time. What is your purpose in this environment that you're occupying at that particular time? And you focus on that purpose and you walk in the purpose with purpose. And what comes back to you will be in alignment. But it starts with the self, and always the determination to be in your purpose and in your calling. For me, very important, in your calling. There is a time and there is a place for everything. As leaders, we see so much that needs to be done, that if we try to attend to it at the same time, we are the ones that are going to lose. So it is very important. That is where discernment also comes into play. That is where understanding of the fact that you are positioned there as a leader, not for yourself, but for others, and for the assignment of God, that you're more careful in what steps you're taking, what tasks you get busy with, to what extent, and when you allow others to take over from you. The issue of balance and blending and the give and take is a decisive one, and it must be done with intention. Without intention, then there is mental, emotional burnout, and we fail to be the good leaders that we want to be. So when we work from a position of humility, understanding that we are positioned there not for our own sake, not for our own goals, then all these things that we're talking about fall into place, I believe, perfectly. At least softer, because it's also still a struggle.
Yeah, I think that is perfectly said, Kia. I love the touch on the word humility, because my next thing was, sometimes, do you think people can get caught up in an egocentric sense of purpose? you know, because sometimes that has happened. We see it in the world, and some of our world leaders, they think they have a purpose, and it's very egomaniacal, and therefore it therefore doesn't promote what I want us to address, which is the sustainability of our purpose for the next generation. Vidushi, would you come in here?
Yes, yes. Sustainability. That's exactly. Sustainability is
Ego
power.
exists where human.
I'm sorry, Kia. Yes, yes. No, so I was saying that, yeah, earlier we had a whole discussion
Continue,
about.
sorry, continue. I thought
Thank
that
you.
was addressed to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, sustainability really is the true is power, you know. We're all talking about finding ourselves, and I just wanted to say and to share with you that I think that well, I don't believe that finding this whole thing about finding yourself is something that you actually do once and then you just finished with it, you know, you found yourself. I think it is something that you practice every day and everything you do. And it starts with what Kia just was saying there about awareness. You know, in the middle of everything, you have work responsibilities, you have family conversations, and so on. And the one simple question that we should all be asking ourselves is, well, at least I do, is, you know, am I still aligned to what truly matters to me? You know, not what is expected, not what is loud, not what is what's true, what's out there. That comes down to the balance we're talking about again, and that's where balance begins. Because like we said, balance it isn't about dividing yourself equally, like Dr. Noel said. You know, it's not half and half, it's not 50-50, but it is about being fully present in each space without losing yourself in any of them. And that's where the term blend, I like blend, Dr. Noel. And, you know, there's blend, which I see when I hear blend, you know, I'm thinking something softer, more intuitive, you know, it's ability to move between these roles that we all have. We're all, you know, leaders, mothers, professionals, partners, children, we're daughters and, you know, sons. So like it's the ability to move between these roles as we blend without feeling that we're actually becoming different people. Instead, it's all in one person, but we're expressing it in different ways. So, you know, we talked earlier about it, and Dr. Bailey too said, you know, and we agree that we don't find ourselves bound in titles. We find ourselves in how we show up, in the integrity of our decisions, in the patience and the compassion, and you said, Richard, compassion and grace that we extend, in the discipline that you hold for yourselves, and in the quiet moments where we choose reflection over reaction. You know, some days it could feel seamless, but it's all part of the process. But in closing, I just wanted to say that finding yourself isn't about standing still long enough to define who you are, but it's about staying grounded enough to recognize yourself even as we grow, as you grow, as I grow. And when we reach that place, you know what? All this talk that we're having now and this discussion about balance and blend, they're no longer things that we chase because they become the way that we live. Thank you.
Yeah,
If I may jump in here, Richard, sorry to cross
definitely.
you,
No,
but I just
no,
feel
not
the
at all.
need to show and explain, like, I am a perfect example of trying to understand the difference between balance and blend. I remember like 2 weekends ago, I attended a conference here in Barbados, and they asked me, how do I see myself being my next best, my best person for the next level? And I said, I would love to be able to find that balance, to be able to balance motherhood, my professional life, and my personal life. And in speaking to persons and trying to find that balance, I realized it's not balance, it's a blend, as Sonia said. And we need to understand that everything happens in seasons, and there's a season for everything. So there's no way that you can balance everything you would love to if the season isn't conducive to having that balance. So as Kia said, well, when we're leading, We lead from a position of knowing we're not doing it for ourselves, but we're doing it for the persons we're leading because we want to see them best self show up in them. I also agree with Dr. Billy that you must be able to say no, and saying no is not a bad thing, because I am a strong believer that you can't pour from an empty cup. So at some point you have to pause and you have to find that blend that helps you refill yourself so you can pour into others. So it's all about blend and not so much finding that balance and understanding what season it is and what you should allow to flourish and grow in that season. So when that season comes to an end, you can take the profits from that season and then nurture the next season and the next season and the next season. So I'm definitely a living example of understanding the difference between balance and blend, and knowing that you cannot always find that 50-50 balance, but you have to find that 80-20 blend when necessary.
Great. So in a way, it means that when you find your purpose, sometimes you have to constantly repurpose it. That is part of sustainability in a way. You have to repurpose it, renegotiate, refuel. So it isn't static, it's organic, it's dynamic. There's another famous quote. I think a famous creative said it. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. Dr. Bailey.
Oh my goodness. You would call me for this one. Yes. Thank you, Richard. And let me just say, you are doing a phenomenal job moderating and keeping this conversation going. Into my colleagues also, this has just been so enlightening. I almost got caught up like Samantha did, like, oh, wait, they're calling on me next. I really feel that our true purpose is in giving unto others. There is a scripture in the Bible that talks about how it's more blessed to give than to receive. And I believe that I'm a strong example of that, because so much has been given unto me. But I think, Richard, it starts with understanding and having a mindset of gratitude and recognizing where we have come from and who has given unto us. We each are on this panel and on this platform, and very grateful to Dr. Sonia for this opportunity. But all of us, even those that are watching, we're standing on the shoulders. We're standing on the shoulders of someone else who has allowed us to now be, they're now our floor or our platform, right? For us to be able to excel. And I think when we take that notion and that mindset, that in order to yes, become great, in order to move in our God-given purpose, that we have to also understand what things we have to give away. I have been in situations where I have curated a business or curated an idea or a project only to have it be at its pinnacle place for me to give it away so someone else can take it to the next level. And that requires us individually to have that trust and that confidence that what I've given and what I've created has never been just about me, but it's always been about the we. And I think when we lead from that understanding and having that mindset of gratitude and being reminded, I didn't get here by happenstance. I'm not standing on my own volition. I am living in the lives and the purpose outline of somebody else's prayers. I am here because somebody else created a door, created a spot, opened up an opportunity so that I could walk through. And I must acknowledge that sacrifice. I must acknowledge that knowing. And when I do, that allows me to have confidence to be able to give away the things that's been given unto me and give it freely, knowing that I'm doing so on purpose, that allows me to feel gratified, and not that I'm losing something, but I'm gaining through giving. I hope that helps, Richard.
Oh yes, it does. I love the grace, I love the gratitude and the gratification that you can get from living from a place of humility, as Kia had mentioned before, and that is what, as I say, repurposes us to want to contribute, because it's not about just you, it's about us all. It's about humanity. I don't know where I was imbued with that. I think my mother's name is Grace by happenstance, and she definitely passed that on to us. So that I was always thinking of others, sometimes too much, to the detriment of my own. But I am not going to change that person. I might have to distill it to some degree, but it's always about how we embolden each other. I am always so exhilarated when Sonia has an accomplishment. Even though there are people who live and they're like green with envy, I don't feel that. When she calls and said, Richard, I got through that, I am happy. And I walk away touting it like if it was my achievement and my accomplishment. And so that is what is so important for us to do. To understand that it is an achievement for us all. We are
Yes,
brothers and sisters keepers. We are brothers and sisters keepers. And so if we get to that place, I
uh-huh.
think we will really, really, really feel fulfilled in serving and being and getting up in the morning and being happy to be alive. Because I think sometimes we could be daunted. And so
Yes,
it
yes,
took a long while for me to reach there, but I'm there, you know.
no, I am so, I don't know where the amen button is or the yes, but I want to just jump in back again on that comment. I believe when we're cheering louder for others, right? When we're somebody else's front row, it's just setting us up for when that moment happens for us. And I love that you have that excitement to see other people win. That comes from a place of gratitude. It's not accidental, it's intentional. And I think once we stop thinking that me applauding you, me celebrating you is somehow taking from me, I think when we remove that mindset, we automatically flow into the grace zone. I think if we live in the grace zone, if we live in the gratitude zone, we will see an elevation in all that we do. Somebody is going to notice the gratitude and the applauding that you do for others, and it won't be long before that's turned around and the applause becomes for you. But I think God gives us examples, and if I'm careful to really say, he gives us opportunity to see how our posture would be when it's somebody else's time. Being married over 30 years, my husband and I have a understanding and a saying, and it's sometimes you, sometimes me, but always us. Because we recognize that your sister may be having a winning season, and you're in the portal just waiting. Your brother might be having a winning season, and it's not your time yet. But just know that your time is coming. So it's okay to applaud. It's okay to give and support somebody else's vision and somebody else's dream and somebody else's project while you have your project on the back burner. Last thing I'll say, I know I got on a tangent here, but you got me excited, Richard. Remember in the Bible, there's this story of Jesus. This is his first encounter of meeting Peter, right? And Peter is done fishing and he's about to pack up. And Jesus asked him, "Can I preach from your boat? Can I speak from your boat?" And many of you live on coastal ways. I'm in Michigan, right? So it's cold, right? But we have a lot of water. But when boats are on the shore, it's very hard to keep a boat still because the waves are coming back and forth. Jesus gets into this boat of Peter, and he has to maintain a boat while Jesus is speaking and giving information and encouragement to someone else. Richard, that's just like what you mentioned with your relationship with Sonia, right? You have to continue to give encouragement. You celebrate others even while you're keeping your boat still, right? And I think if we have that level of gratitude that no, it may not be my time, it may not be my shine moment, but I can celebrate when it's somebody else's moment. Each panelist, as they spoke, I've been being fed, I've been taking something in, I've been celebrating and applauding, right? Because I think as we have that attitude, we'll always have the ability to say, I'm okay with giving because it's been given unto me. I'm okay with showing gratitude because that's the umbrella that I live up under. Thank you for letting me jump in on that, Richard. You got me so
Okay.
excited.
I want to bring Samantha in, but I want to talk about there's something that I always have to bring out when I'm talking to groups that we are more alike than we're different, and our similarities. We feel pain, we feel joy, we feel a lot of things that just manifest themselves differently. And sometimes we try to stand aloof from other things and get on like if we are not really the same. I like the acknowledgement of our similarities, but I also like to celebrate when people have different parts. I like to celebrate diversity. I like to celebrate different approaches, different wins. And so that is what has kept me not walking around feeling angst and anguish or envy or any of that, because that is what we are all here to do. So, bouncing off of what Dr. Bailey said and added what I've just said about we just manifest things differently because we're in different circumstances, different geographics, different histories, but we feel the same. We feel joy and pleasure and empathy and all of those things. But you have to allow it to have its own individuality and its own perspective. And so I want to go to Samantha, and I'm coming back to Vidushi. Yes?
Spot on, Richard, because all during this presentation here, I'm saying, oh my God, Dr. Bailey seems to be my twin. And I'm so enthralled by her responses, and a lot of things that she is saying speaks to me too, while still inspiring me to continue to be my best self. And as Dr. Bailey said, we have to support each other. We have to support each other's win. And like I spoke about seasons, there's a season for everything. So when it is your season, I'm going to applaud you. When it's someone else's season, we would applaud them. And when it's my season, we all applaud. And that is what makes stronger communities. And again, it goes back to networking. So when you are networking and you can pull on the strengths of everyone in that community, in that space, because as you said, we are alike, but we are still different, and everyone has different strength, everyone has different interests, everyone can bring something great to the table. So as we network and as we pull on each other's strength and we build one common goal, once we achieve that one common goal using or working with everyone, then that is how we bring our differences together and still become similar for that one goal, as I said. So again, I believe in seasons. I believe in applauding people. Again, I would say I believe in lifting others as we rise. That's how we continue to support each other, support our communities, and in networking, like I said, just pull on each other's strength, and we have that one common goal. My strength might be if we want to make, say, a garment, my strength might be in understanding the measurements, while someone else's strength might be in stitching properly. But when we come together, we make that garment is the best garment that we can make. So like I say, I believe in supporting each other's strength. And even though we are very much alike, still recognizing our individualities.
Yeah, it's all about enhancing and enriching our life chance. And that is how civilization is able to continue. And humanity is the foundation of civilization. And therefore, in being humane, which is supposed to be the most essential ingredient of our interconnectivity, sometimes we lose it. Vidushi, I want you to come in there, and then I want to throw it back over to Kia.
Okay. Yes, yeah, indeed. Samantha, I also agree with you with Dr. Bailey. I was just there. She's a very passionate speaker. I agree with her. And thank you. It's indeed an honor to be here with her and with all of you. And indeed, in recognizing all of this, I think we're all learning, and we all have to learn to celebrate, to truly celebrate diversity, not as something that separates us, but as something that, what you said, Richard, that enriches us. I know we all have different paths, different struggles, different wins, but we're all we're all and they're all these things are equally worthy of recognition, because when one of us rise, it does not take away from the rest. We've said that. It just adds to the whole. So our differences are not divisions. They are dimensions. And when we choose to see that they're dimensions, we don't just coexist. We grow, we uplift, and we succeed together. And you mentioned humanity, Richard. I know about the timing, but I just wanted to tell you about an archery competition once that I attended. There were these different teams. Everybody had different backgrounds, different levels of experience, and you could just feel it in the room, right? Some were seasoned, some were confident, and some were almost effortless just in their presence. And then there were the others who were just very quiet, and some are just still finding their footing and so on. And there was this one young athlete in particular. So you could tell that everything was just totally new to her. The nerves, the environment, the pressure, her shots weren't landing the way that she wanted. And you could see all the frustration building up in her. And then you know what happened? Something simple but powerful happened. And it reminded me when you said about humanity, Richard. An athlete from the other team, someone who had every reason to stay focused on their target and their own performance, paused, walked over and offered her a few quiet words of encouragement. Nothing technical and nothing complicated. I was nearby and I just heard just say, stay with it. You've got this. And it didn't change the scoreboard in any way. But you know what? It changed her. And you could see it. You could see the shift in her posture, her breathing, and her confidence. And she studied and she smiled. And you know what happened with the next shot? It landed better. It wasn't perfect, but it was stronger. And in that moment, and you remind me of this again today, Richard, and everyone here, that yes, we're all here to compete. But what stayed with me, it really isn't who won. It's just a reminder that we are more alike, like you said, than we are different. And every one of us knows what it is like to have a struggle, to doubt, to hope for just a good moment. But when we choose to celebrate each other, even across lines of competition, even across our differences in background and experience, we're actually creating something bigger than individual wins. We are creating a space where everyone has the permission to rise. Thank you.
Yeah, the sum is greater than the individual part. Sometimes these individual parts feel that they are bigger than the whole picture. And it's all about having a holistic perspective on our collective purposes, and that is what gives us hope. That is what gives us optimism, which is part of our human condition and makes us want to thrive and make us want to succeed and make us want to spur each other on. Kia, a comment before we go to break? Did Kia hear me? Yes. We're all excited, Kia, and we're talking about the optimism of our human existence. We are talking about the continuation of our civilization. We are talking about collectively we are stronger and we are bigger than individually, and we must understand and promote that. We want to hear your comments on that in terms of shared vision. I don't know if she's hearing me. Are you hearing me,
Is
Kia?
that question to me?
Yes,
please repeat. Richard, please repeat. I lost you there.
Okay, so we are talking now about the whole collective spirit, the collective energy of our human existence. Yeah, are you hearing me? We are talking about the collective energy of our human existence and our human condition. And when we understand that, we realize that we have to try to enrich each other's time here on earth and applaud and congratulate and motivate people. I just wanted a comment from you on that value. I don't know if you heard me.
Thank you very much, Richard.
Okay.
I can hear you. Thank you very much for the question. Richard, I'm going to make this very personal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make this one very personal. I'm going to answer it from my heart and how I am approaching life. I'm always trying to have the purest heart in whatever I do. I pray to God for a pure heart. And when you have a pure heart, you don't envy other people's achievements, successes, movement in life. That's point number one. Number two, I come from a modeling background. And the modeling background and pageantry, you compete. You go to an audition for a toothpaste advert, the 77 young women wanting that one position of the one that's going to be on the ad. And what modeling has taught me is that it is not that I am wrong. It is not that I am not capable. It is just that at that point, they are not looking for a girl that looks like me, which then taught me to know that my time is coming. When I lost on auditions, I did not stop going to auditions. I went and I went and I went until I got something, until I thought modeling is no longer for me. But I walked away with the lesson and the understanding that it does not mean if I don't achieve something, it does not mean that I'm wrong. It does not mean that I am not of value. It does not mean that I am not worthy. So why not celebrate and support and look at the person that has won with celebration? Point number three, I was sitting with a group of women last weekend, and a topic of being overlooked. What do you do with the feelings of being overlooked? When you are serving, whether you're serving in church or you're in an office or wherever you are, and the work that you are given to do, you do it with excellence. And when the time comes for, there's an opening for a position to be filled, you are not given that opportunity and you feel overlooked. What do you do with those feelings? And right now, I don't want to talk to the issue of the feelings. I want to talk to the issue of the timing and knowing that you are worthy and you have value. Because you may say that you are overlooked, but it may be that you're not overlooked. It's just that you're not seen, are not recognized. They don't see your skills. It could be that it is not your time or your season. It could be that the people that are around you are not the people that are meant to receive what God. So this understanding takes me away from issues of competition, issues of being upset when somebody else is achieving what I'm hoping to achieve. And the relationship with yourself allows you the opportunity to know that at the right time, you will achieve what you're meant to achieve. And sometimes the things that we are chasing, they are not meant for Kia. No, they are meant for Dr. Sonia. So be happy for her. Look at her, learn from her. So I'm not in the business of competition or comparison. I'm in the business of uniting people, hence the Christian Women Business Network. Come from your different corners with your gifts. And let's be in a safe space where we are learning from each other, where we empower each other, where we support each other, so that we all have thriving business and spiritual lives.
Yeah,
It's
wonderful.
such a waste of time, and I don't understand it to be jealous of the next person. It's a waste of time, and I don't understand it to be envious.
The competitive edge, I think, is bettering self. because we need to be in fraternities and sororities and enlisting a sense of camaraderie, and the competitive edge is really just in bettering self, not in comparing with others to do the crab and barrel thing. But we'll take a break right now, and we'll come back for more.
In the modeling background and pageantry, you compete. You go to an audition for a toothpaste advert. The 77 young women wanting that one position of the one that's going to be on the ad. And what modeling has taught me is that it is not that I am wrong. It is not that I am not capable. It is just that at that point, they are not looking for a girl that looks like me, which then taught me to know that my time is coming. When I lost on auditions, I did not stop going to auditions. I went.
That was a very good example there, Kia. And I think a lot of, especially young girls who are in the modeling industry, can learn a lot from that, because going to auditions, you can hear so many no's, and it can be quite daunting. And I'm listening to everyone for the last 2 hours, over 2 hours. And the words of John Maxwell, I like just came to me. I want to make a difference with people that make a difference at a time that make a difference, doing something that makes a difference. And earlier, somebody was one of the things that was actually losing yourself. You have to lose yourself in something bigger when you have a calling. And I'm seeing that and hearing that with everyone on this call today. And I want to thank every one of you. We're winding down soon. And I also want to thank Stephen for putting all of this together, the technical director, putting all this together. I want to thank you. And I want to, when I look at every single panelist, you all brought something, you all came with something. And I want our audience to look at this as a buffet, and you take whatever it is that you want from that particular speaker. Write it down, record whatever it is, because there's so many nuggets that were dropped here today. Nuggets, and not just gold nuggets, it has diamonds in between there. So it's very, very valuable. So I want to thank all of you, and Richie, you're doing an amazing job. I mean, it's just like, I know all of you personally, but hearing you in action here, Dr. Bailey, how you, my sister? Hear this thing. Michigan might be cold, but you damn hot. You're heating up the place. So yes, this has been so tremendous. Richard, I'm putting back to you. We winding down, and
Yeah. So one of the inspirational quotes that you threw at us to lead us into this was that quote by Maya Angelou, when she said she finds that among the other benefits, giving liberates the soul of the giver. Another one, she says, when you learn, teach; when you
yeah,
get,
give.
give. And I mean, everybody here has impacted on this value of purpose, this value of giving, the necessity to give, the obligation to give, the responsibility to give. And I sum it all up and say it's love. That's what love is. That's what I have learned love to be. In all of the groups that I work in, I tell them it's a love thing. I hug people. I demonstrate it. I find a way to make it palpable. It can't stay in the intangible zone. And that is how we kind of embolden each other and bolster each other because in the quiet moments, a lot of us sometimes fall into some very daunted spaces, and we have to acknowledge that that exists. So don't think that everybody is up there on a cloud, because there are times people look at me. I'm 6'3.5". Sometimes they might say, "Oh, you're articulate," and they think I don't have down times, and there are many times I have that. Sonia knows that, and that's why I say it resonates so much when I hear what Kia says. That there had times when I didn't think I wanted to be here, but if it wasn't for Sonia Noel, I wouldn't. And and others, there are a few other women like that who have impacted on me, and that is why I know I feel a feminist at heart, because those people have kept me up, not only on their shoulders, probably on top of their heads. So I want everybody to kind of, let's get to some closing lines about what we're leaving here with people. What we're leaving, what was this, the purpose of the call, to use the word purpose in a different method right now, because we're seeking out our purposes and they're being repurposed every day. Okay, and what do we want people to walk away from this feeling? Not only because it's the International Month for Women Empowerment, but for us being able to share, being able to be on a platform together. I would never have met you all if it weren't for this, and we are across the world. This is phenomenal. You know, we are in South Africa, we are in Barbados, we are in Michigan, in the United States, we are in Guyana. I am Trinidadian, and so we are all over the space and realizing that we are human first and foremost, and that we are engendered to love and find ways to share that love, which is in the giving, you know, and to understand that you are gifted and bestowed with this phenomenal, formidable responsibility to make and to ignite others. And that's what I feel about life, and that's why I'm here. That's why Sonia could get me to be here, you know? And so I want everybody to just, without being led on by, speak to this. This is your time to say something that you want to leave as your nugget, your lasting impression on this platform.
How much time, Richard?
Everybody has like about a minute or two.
All right, I'll take my minute or two first.
Okay.
I just want to say, outside of my love and my passion for giving, especially how you summed it up just now, Richard, I am very happy that I agreed to be part of this panel. When Sonia reached out to me and I asked her what was the purpose, and she said, you know, we just want some leaders to come together to inspire persons. And while I am hoping that I achieved that and I inspired someone that is watching here today, I just have to say that I have been really inspired by all of the other panelists and you as well, Richard. So for me, my takeaway from here is, again, not only when you are in a community or when you are a leader, you're not only there to pour yourself into others to see them shine, but you can also gain from the other leaders around you to help you be your better person as you continue to shine for those that you are leading, for those that you are mentoring, for those that you are motivating, for those that you are showing that leadership to. Again, I would take it back to not only leading the public, but also leading your household and leading your children. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you, Sonia, for the inspiration. Thank you for believing in me to do such. This has been my first time doing something like this. So like while I am hoping that I inspired someone, I am very happy that I have been inspired with everyone and all the presentations here today.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Indeed. I echo Samantha's comments. I don't know if I could go next and just...
Yes, you may.
Yes, I agree completely with Samantha. I am so grateful to Dr. Noel for inviting me here. And just like Samantha, I've learned and I've taken away so much from this afternoon, these few hours spent with you all, and all my colleagues on the board, on the panel, and to you, Richard, for pulling this together so beautifully and keeping it going. And Dr. Noel, your kind words about the nuggets shared today. And I am reminded after this afternoon, these few hours, that giving is not just an act, that it actually liberates the soul of the giver. And, there's profound rhythm to it, that when you learn, you teach, when you receive, you give. And I'm going to be taking that away. It's in the flow of learning, sharing, receiving, returning, that our lives gain both purpose and momentum, and that giving isn't a transaction, it's a transformation. So I'm leaving here this afternoon really reinforcing that every time we offer what we have, we unlock something that's much deeper within ourselves. And the call is, I invite others to do the same. I'd like to leave a charge and a call to action to give freely, share openly, and teach without expectation. Knowing that the act itself, it will enrich not just you, and not just the receiver, but the giver's own soul. Thank you.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Dr. Bailey.
I am so just in awe of every last one of you. First to Dr. Sonia, my goodness, I am so grateful to God for the divine connection. And for those of you that are watching, please just give some emojis, hand claps for Dr. Sonia for putting this together. There could not be this if it was not her. And I thank her for her vision. I thank her for her direction and for asking little old me to be a part of this opportunity. And then to my fellow panelists, obviously I have grown and I have learned from every word that you've had to give. And I thank you for that. And I'm inspired by your work and your worth, and to Richard, the amazing panel, haven't been amazing as it has been by the moderator. So thank you so much for your leading and your guiding today. I guess I will just say this in closing, and that is, please reach out and pull on all of the nuggets and wisdom that you've received today, because each person have laid diamonds and jewels and rubies for you to adorn your life with. But I would also add that it's important that you continue the journey of the evolution called you. When you find more and more about your purpose and who you are and get solidified on who you've been created to be, you become unstoppable. As a boutique owner, I tell my customers all the time, like, don't wait for an event to happen for you to dress up. You are the event. You're the event in your sweatpants and sweatshirts. You're the event whenever you show up. You are the room, and there's absolutely nothing you cannot do. And so live life from that place of giving and that place of living. There is no competition. So you can applaud other people because you are amazing. And I can never leave an encounter without reminding you that you absolutely matter. So wherever you are in your journey right now, wherever you might be, whatever season you might find your space and yourself in, know that you matter and that every season has an expiration date. Lastly, Richard, I just want to say, thank you for being my friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're my pal, my confidant. And if you're through a party and it invited everyone, you would see the big and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all.
Yeah. Wow.
She has an
Yes.
album out, She has an album out, right? So, oh, yes, you got to go get it.
Is Kia there? Is Kia there? Kia? Yes.
I am here.
And we want to hear your
I am
last
here.
bits. Yes. Give us your last bits of nuggets to throw out here. What was this for you?
Thank you so much. I have already, before I knew this moment of saying my last bits was coming, I already typed in our empowered me. It has inspired me, and I leave looking forward to using these nuggets that I've collected. I'm not lying. I've got paper and pen. So thank you so very much for allowing me, Dr. Sonia, to be part of this amazing platform, opportunity, a global conversation by women and men from different parts of the world. It is a great honor. And Dr. Sonia, I'm not sure that you quite grasp it, or that you are aware of just how great this is. And I would like for you, before you go to bed tonight, just look back at what has been achieved. Look back at the YouTube channel and see just the impact that you're making by just being you and following your own purpose. Now, if we have to talk about purpose, and I have to summarize purpose, I will say for me, purpose is life. Purpose is a gift. Purpose is a gift not only for myself, but for the next person. When I live my purpose, the next person benefits, and I become satisfied with gratitude and joy to be a person that imparts on others. And to all of us, I would like to remind us that purpose is not defined by our situation. Purpose is not defined by our circumstances. Purpose is who we are and what we do. It is in us, and it's gifted to us by God. So no matter the situation, circumstances, whether you have financially or you don't have financially, whether you are joyful or you are sad, your purpose remains the same, and it remains unshaken. So at any given time, you're able to live your purpose. And when you live your purpose, truly, you're living a full life. So if you're not sure about your own purpose, find it, and life will be worth it. Because whether you're poor or you're rich, you're happy, you're joyful, you're in summer, you're in winter, life is meaningful when you live your purpose. Thank you so much. It has been an honor and a privilege, especially on Human Rights Day in South Africa.
Wonderful. Yeah, so I will close before we pass on to Sonia. I think I am living my purpose, and in fact, I am purposing my living. And so it was an honor, and I have been humbled to have met you all. And Sonia puts me in these positions, and this has given me the scope to recognize that this is another talent that I may have among the others. And so I'm channeling it. I'm actually going to do a talk with Stephen Dubal about this purpose that I think I have been bestowed. So I'm looking forward to that. You all will hear about it because we are now all together in a family. So it was wonderful meeting you, wonderful serving as the moderator to today's panel, and looking forward to continued blessings.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Each of you I'm seeing very soon. I'm actually seeing Vidushi in a couple of hours. I'm seeing Samantha for our event next Wednesday in Barbados. I'm seeing Dr. Bailey next week in Lansing. And in August, Kia, you got to wait a little while, huh? But I'm seeing you in August. I want to leave all of us with a quote by Martin Luther King. Not everyone can be famous, but everyone can be great. His greatness is determined by service. And I can see all of us here leading from the heart, leading with love, and leading with service. And to you, our wonderful audience, thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much, Richie, all our panelists, everyone. Oh my God, this is amazing. Just you're going to see the credits coming up. Some of the people that names will be up. But yes, Kia, I will go tonight and I will internalize and digest everything. And I'm encouraging all of you to join us tomorrow at 3, where we're going to have some more dynamic, riveting conversations tomorrow. Our next panel tomorrow from different parts of the world. See you tomorrow. Thank you.